You are now watching Cultural Survival's Global News Bulletin. Every month, Cultural Survival brings you the latest news impacting indigenous peoples across the globe. This July edition features important stories from Europe, North, Central, South America, Africa, Asia, and beyond. Starting news from North America. News from USA. A White House report criticized the Smithsonian for what it called a radical ideology, saying the museum focused too heavily on genocide and a stolen land. Native American advocates called the report government erasure. The White House did not explain how the exhibits should change.
In international news, moving to Canada, tensions rose at Niagara Falls City Hall after Mayor Jim Diodati apologized to members of the Sichuan First Nation. The apology came after local officials compared 1,100 evacuees from a sewage crisis to the city's homeless population. Indigenous leaders accepted the apology, but protesters downtown are still calling for the mayor to resign.
In Australia, Queensland's plan to increase adoptions could harm Indigenous children. Australia's Commissioner for Indigenous Children has warned. Advocates say the government should prioritize kinship care over permanent legal removal to protect cultural ties and avoid repeating the trauma of the stolen generations.
Moving to Africa now, in Kenya, Maasai and Rendile communities in Kenya are trying to stop a controversial carbon credit project linked to Meta and Netflix. They say organizers used coercion and intimidation to secure land agreements, and they warn that the deal could threaten their ancestral grazing rights.
Now in Nigeria, severe floods are battering West Africa and devastating rural and indigenous communities. Dozens have died in Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana as ancestral lands are washed away. In Nigeria, unpredictable weather is destroying crops, leaving vulnerable farmers with a little support as they brace for more rain.
To Asia now, in Nepal, indigenous Niwa farmers in Kokana and Bungamati protested on June 29th, National Paddy Day, against the Kathmandu Terai fast-track project. They said the Nepali army occupied ancestral land without their free, prior and informed consent, threatening heritage and religious sites. The project remains delayed by land compensation disputes and court cases.
In Indonesia, residents and activists in Indonesia's Weda Bay are protesting the expansion of nickel mining. On Anti-Mining Day, they blocked industrial roads and demanded the immediate halt to operations tied to the electric vehicle boom. They warn of deforestation, water pollution, and threats to the indigenous Ohongan Meniwa community.
In Peru, indigenous defenders Unite for Safety indigenous leaders from 5 South American countries have gathered in Lima to create a regional network that protects environmental defenders. With murders and forced displacement linked to extractive industries on the rise, activists say they will no longer face the struggle alone.
Now in Brazil, indigenous fire knowledge is helping protect Brazil's Cerrado from severe wildfires. In Tocantins, the Charante people are working with environmental officials to use controlled burns to safely clear dry brush before the peak of the drought, showing how traditional knowledge can help address climate change.
And in Bolivia, protests loom as Bolivia marks Indigenous New Year. Bolivia marked Indigenous New Year 5534 amid a deep political crisis. Even as a state of emergency and widespread roadblocks called for President Rodrigo Paz's resignation, communities gathered at nearly 70 sacred sites, turning the scaled-back ceremonies into a show of cultural resilience.
In Ecuador, the UN has officially added Ecuador's ancestral Awa territory to its global registry, marking a major win for rainforest conservation. Indigenous leaders welcomed the designations, which recognizes their traditional governance and their vital role in protecting critical biodiversity from environmental threats.
And in Argentina, Argentina's Salta province has passed the historic Octorina law. The law classifies chaneo, the systemic sexual abuse of indigenous women by non-indigenous men, as a hate crime and requires public awareness campaigns to help combat it. As a hate crime and requires public awareness campaigns to help combat it.
That is all for this edition of Cultural Survival's Global News Bulletin. Stay tuned for our next podcast. For more information on the rights of indigenous peoples, visit cs.org and follow Cultural Survival on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, and Blue Sky.